Hey guys, we are going to go through 20 very, very simple, low-hanging tactile cues. And the whole idea of this video and this list is to get people to realize that your tactile cues don't always need to be technical cues. I think that there's a little misconception that if I'm going to put my hands on a body, I have to deliver some sort of magical technical development. And that's just not true. Tactile cueing, even the simple tactile cues that we're going to go through, can go a really, really long way for making an athlete feel seen and getting like that one-on-one attention. And it can be as simple, oftentimes as simple as just like a little tap on an elbow, on a back, on a knee, and that can make the athlete feel that that coaching presence that we're looking for. So I'm gonna crash course it. I've got my computer here. I'm gonna run through this with Christy. I got about 10 postures that we're gonna go through, maybe 12 postures and 8 movements, and they're completely randomly picked. So it's not like these are the most important ones. I'm just trying to give you some really low-hanging fruit ways to deliver tactile cues to your athletes in class. So let's get right into it. So starting with standing at attention, one of the common things we see is when the feet are a little bit further apart than they ought to be, and it's as simple as saying to your athletes, either as a group or to the athlete itself, bring those feet together to touch, just a tap on the foot. All right, another thing we see is when the hands are rolled forward, and the tactile cue can be as simple as roll the shoulders back and open. You can put hands on the elbows, you can put hands on the shoulders, use your better judgment on that. Go to mountain pose, reach your hands up high. We're gonna rotate pinkies to the front of the room. It's that, so you see I just take my hands on the outside of the elbow and I rotate the arms forward, and then Brock, maybe you come around a little bit, or Christy, you can turn a little bit. But one of the things that we see is when the shoulders are super active, you might say, bring the shoulders back and down, right? Neutralize the shoulders. And you can see what I'm doing. It's just a tap here. I'm not like pulling, it's literally bring the shoulders back and down. The combination of my words and the tap lets the athlete make the adjustment. Moving on to an open arm twist. Biggest thing we see oftentimes is the back arm lowers. So it can be as simple as giving a target. Hey, reach my hand, there you go. Or hands on the arms and lengthening and lifting a little bit and then stepping back. And that's it. We can do the target, or we can place hands on, lengthen, and lift for the open arm twist. We move to a side body stretch, okay? Thing we see most common is that the arm that's stretching drifts forward, right? So it can be something as simple as, hey, pull that left shoulder back, get it square, and here again, I'm just using the tap. Go back to the theme of the video. These don't need to be technical cues to be great tactile cues. So just a tap while my language, pull that left shoulder back, good. And then maybe a little sort of confirmation for the athlete goes a super long way. Tap to get the shoulder back. Forward fold. This is one of the easiest ones. You're gonna be in a million forward folds every single class. Just walk up and make sure, hey, relax your low back, relax your low back. Let it hang long and loose. Here again, super simple. I am just giving a little tap on the spine. This is me saying I'm talking to you personally about decompressing and letting the low back relax. If you have some rapport, you can even put the hand here and sort of encourage with a flat hand, right? Hey, relax the spine, let everything decompress down there. High plank. My favorite with a high plank is just rotating elbow pits to the front of the room. So elbow pits to the front of the room. So if a lot of people, they're just kind of here in this position, and it's as simple as saying, hey, everybody, we're shouting to everybody, let's rotate the elbows to the front of the room. So you're cupping the entire elbow. You're not jerking the body into position, but you're just moving the elbow pit, just rotate it to the front of the room. And then another one is neutral shoulder blades. So we are not pinching the shoulder blades together, nor are we letting them sag apart. And it can be as simple, again, as just giving people a personal touch point. So neutralize the shoulder blades, not rounded out, not crunched together, really, really good. If you want to go a little further, you can say something like, pinch my hand, there you go, that would bring them down, or press my hand up, good. And that's and again, my tactile cue isn't complicated as long as it comes with language to go with it. We're gonna move right into upward facing dog. I jump around different postures, but upward facing dog is we're driving into the tops of our feet so hard, our quads are off the ground. Here again, it's as simple as a tap. I'm tapping just above the knee, making sure the quads are off the ground. Remember, don't be too delicate. Delicate can get weird, so you're being a little bit mechanical about it, right? Like you're like a doctor or a mechanic working on a machine, all right? Good. We get into downward facing dog. Press hard and drive your chest through towards those quads. Here again, the cue itself is incredibly simple. Open hand, placed on the mid back of a tiny little bit of pressure, but more than anything, I'm saying drive your chest through. The athlete's doing the work. I'm just delivering this really basic tactile cue to make the athlete feel like I'm giving one-on-one attention to them. We go into three-legged down dog. Biggest thing is hand here on the bottom saying, hey, no bending the knee, no bending the knee. So if the knee is bent, it's again, just no bending the knee, lengthen out that leg, good. And then let's square that hip. And now I'm not tapping the glute, obviously. I'm tapping the low back on the side that the hip needs to come down. Good. Low lunge, crescent lunge. What do I have next? Warrior 2. I open up all the way to Warrior 2, so let's go that way. Beautiful. Warrior 2. Biggest thing we see, Brock maybe cheat around to the front here, is we see a lot of athletes where this knee caves in, just like an air squat, like it's no different. So it can be as simple as, hey, go ahead and press out on my hand. Good, get that knee tracking over those toes. Look at this, look at the complexity of this. I'm just placing my hand on the outside of the knee, on the back of my hand. That's the tactile cue. It's not complicated. You just have to have the confidence to put your hand there, tell the athlete to press out on the hand. Extended side angle, we're already on 12. Extended side angle is, I like to make sure that this top shoulder is rolled up and open. So again, I'm just sort of coming around, pulling the arm back, right? If you are feeling like you want to approach the athlete so they see you coming up to them so that they're not caught off guard, it's as simple as saying, hey, let's go ahead and roll this top shoulder open. And you can see where I'm doing this, just kind of got my hand on the wrist, I'm not grabbing the armpit, I'm not grabbing the chest, I'm just opening up the arm, and my words are roll the top shoulder open so she knows what we got going on. Reverse warrior. This is another one where what we see is people extend the leg, right? Extend the leg. There you go. So people do that. They do reverse warrior, and we always say, hey, keep a deep bend in that front knee. This is a target, another target situation. Go ahead and bring your hand to my knee. Perfect, right there. Target. Extend it again. All I'm doing is I'm placing my hand where I want it, and I'm asking the athlete to try to bring their knee to touch my hand. It's a target tactile cue. All right, let's move on to some movements. Air squat. Try this one. Let's turn sideways. Try this one. Bottom of the air squat. Folks, lift arms, pull the shoulder up out of the hip. I've got a hand on the back. You can sort of see, Brock, if you get in close. I am actually using my forearm to support the athlete, not just here, but using my forearm, and I'm kind of scooping around and lifting, and that's it. That's the whole tactile cue. Lift your shoulder up out of your hip. Ready, and down. Hold here, everybody. Lift, lift, lift. And you can see I'm barely even touching the body right now. And stand. And the hand there is just because as you lift the arms, from time to time, people may tip backwards. You have to be mindful of that. Deadlift. So don't worry about weights right now. Turn sideways. Get into a squatty deadlift. Press up on my hand. There you go. So we can get the hips to rise by putting a flat hand on the back. Get into a high hipped deadlift. There you go. Lower your hips down. Good. And we can use a tap to lower the hips. It's that simple. Stand up one more time. Shake it out. Okay, one more time. So if she's in a really squatty deadlift, you give them something to press against. Good. So go ahead and lift up. There you go. Lift this hand. Good. Right there. Okay. And then if they're high hipped, again, we just say lower the hips, stop. And that's it. It's so simple. It's just a tap and a flat hand. Bent over row. Another target situation. I want you to go ahead and try to elbow my hand behind you. Good. Come on, all the way up. There you go. One more time. And row. Boom. It's a target. You just put your hand back there. That mosquito on your face. You gotta put your target right back there, and you let the athlete aim for that target. Skull crushers, if you can lay down on that. I chose this one because we've actually got some skull crushers coming up. The big thing that we're going to see is when people are bent, this elbow is going to drift forward, and then they're going to throw it out. They're almost like throwing the weight to the finish. So what we do, go ahead and get into a good position, bend the elbow, is we put this little barrier here. Now we have them do the extension. Good. Back down, do the extension, back down. Now we keep them from applying any kind of forward motion on the elbow. It's a super simple one where we just create the barrier while they do the skull crusher. I got 3 more, which is a shrug under. Lucky for us. We've got a slam ball right here. And the big thing that I want, this is less of a tactile cue because you're not actually touching the body. You've maybe seen me do this before, but with a shrug under, you can do this. Okay, all I want you to do is shrug. Go ahead, shrug. I'm gonna hold it and now let the athlete move around the slam ball to the bottom of that squat and stand. One more time, bring it back down. Now, I wanna see it with some speed. Big shrug, drop, boom. And I love that one. That's a really, really easy way to help people see what it's like to move their body around the slam ball and not worry about moving the slam ball up to their chest. Lunges. So if you stand back there, the big thing that we see people do on lunges is they get on a tightrope. So Brock, maybe cheat around this way. And if you watch her feet, you can see that she's kind of stopped right there. You can see everything's kind of on a tightrope. Very, very out of balance, right? Easy for people to start to lose their way. So what I like to do, this is again, not exactly tactile cueing because I'm not touching the body, but I'll actually place my hands here, right about shoulder width apart, boom, and then I'll have them go to the other side. Yeah, and I'll have them step to meet my hands. And that is such an easy way to get in front of your athlete and have a personal moment where you say, hey, here's what I want you to do. Stay on the train track, step your feet to meet my hands to stay off the tightrope. And then last but not least is we've got an upright row, another target situation. If she's got an upright row, yeah, boom. It's just try to elbow me exactly, just like that every single time. Maybe you come up on both sides, awesome. And you're just giving the target. These are super basic, easy tactile cues that are not technical in nature. You don't need to have a great concept of anatomy. You don't need to touch all that much. A lot of it's just tapping or targets. I want you to try to deploy these regularly in class. I mean, how many bent over rows, forward folds do you have where you could just tap a back and give that personal touch point? It's gonna enhance the athlete experience. I want you to give it a try. And then the document is here for any other support.